This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI Studios in Toronto, Canada.
Hey Toronto, this is Ed Sheeran.
This is Kelly Clarkson.
Hi, this is Bryan Adams.
This is Adele.
This is Madonna.
It's Michael Bublé, and you're listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep Show. It's fun. They're amazing.
I feel like I'm 10 years old watching Sidney Crosby score the golden goal again. I have been reborn. Canada is alive. If you don't love your country, then I don't know what to say to you. This is the greatest country on the planet. Let's go! End of the day, McDavid's the greatest player ever. Made it happen, baby. We're the best hockey nation in the world.
I love Canada. It's our game, baby. It's our game.
Oh, how we feeling this morning? That first guy had a couple of pops, eh? That first guy had
I love him.
48 rum and cokes last night.
Reminds me of Chris Farley and this band down by the river.
Smoke. Wow, what a hockey game last night. There was everything. There was tension, there was drama, there was lead changes, and there was overtime. Can you ask for anything more than the championship game, overtime, sudden death, one goal decides it all?
I know you watched it in real time. I watched the highlights, and I got excited just watching the highlights. I'm like, what a great game.
Let me ask you this. When you watched the highlights, did you already know what the outcome was?
I did.
Oh,
yeah,
you did.
I wanted to see the goals. I wanted to see like the shots on goal too because they showed all of it. And our goalkeeper in overtime, like, thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jordan Binnington, Canada owes you an apology because he was the one thing, and myself included, I was like, I don't know about our goaltending. And he had let in a couple of stinky goals in the tournament, but man, oh man, last night he was near perfect. In overtime, there was at least 3 chances for Austin Matthews and one for Brady Tkachuk. I'm like, oh, okay, we're done.
Yeah.
Like, chances Matthews does not miss.
The first shot on goal, I don't know who it was from. The first shot on
Matthews,
goal. Well, I thought that was in. I was
for
like,
sure.
Woo, that was a save and a half.
I was getting up to turn off the TV. I'm like, what? He kept it out?
Yeah, that was great.
It was insane. And then Connor McDavid ends it. And oh my goodness, what an unreal moment. It's one of those ones where I knew I was going to be sleep deprived, but I'm like, these are core memories that I'm like, you cannot miss these things. I'll be tired for a day. Who cares? I'll never
you were
forget.
There.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't there, but I was there.
Yeah.
I was there with coffee, and I scared her when I celebrated. Connor McDavid, the best hockey player in the world, he ended it, which just feels fitting when you think about what Sidney Crosby did in 2010 in Vancouver. Now the torch has been passed to Connor. He looked, because he's a very serious guy, he looked the happiest he's ever been in his life. Because he's never won a Stanley Cup, and because, as I was telling you, there hasn't been best on best hockey in 9 years, this is the most significant win of Connor McDavid's life. And a lot of the players on Canada who have not played best on best and haven't won a Stanley Cup, you could see, like Sidney Crosby's like been there, done that. But a lot of the other players, it looked like the single happiest moment.
That's a taste
Of their entire life. Yeah. And it's got me wondering, we want to spread the joy. What is the happiest moment of your life? Think about it for a second. What was the moment of your life where you were the absolute happiest?
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Did you guys watch the game? There hasn't been best on best competition in 9 years, and what that means for a lot of these players, including Connor McDavid, who scored the overtime winner. The look on, McDavid is so stoic and serious. To see how happy he was when he scored, I've never seen him that happy in my life. I think it was the happiest moment of his life because he hasn't won a Stanley Cup. And he's never played best on best like this before.
Let me ask you, too. You watching never experiencing the Leafs not a shot, winning the Stanley Cups, wasn't that like a moment, though, for you? That you're like, this may be the only time I get to celebrate a win like this?
Why do you think I don't miss these games? Why do you think I was watching in 2010 and 2014 and 2016 and now? Because, I haven't had much to celebrate in 41 years or 58 years if you're a longer living Leaf fan than me. But just the looks on the players' faces, it looked like the happiest moment of their life. And it got me thinking, I want to know about the happiest moment in your life. What was that? Anita in Toronto, what's yours?
I was able to sing the national anthem with a group of kids at music school at the Family Day game at Scotiabank Arena on Monday.
Oh, wow. You sang the national anthem at Scotiabank Arena? That's amazing.
Yes. And it was, I'm telling you, I have never sung our national anthem with more passion or joy than I did that day just because of everything going on. And it was, we've done it before, but this time it was just different. And I've never heard the kids sing with more heart than they did that day. It was amazing. One of my happiest moments are the days that I have 2 nephews and a niece, and the days that they were born were just like the happiest of my life. I don't have kids of my own, and to me, like I love them just as though they were my own. Those are definitely the happiest of my life as well.
Oh, that's so sweet. It's like they get a bonus mom.
Aw,
that's so kind.
Yeah.
I love that. Anita, thank you for sharing both of those. They're so beautiful.
Thank you.
What's the happiest moment of your life? Margot in Toronto.
Was when I gave birth to my son.
Oh, when you gave birth to your son. When was that?
That was in 1974.
Okay, so it's been a minute.
Yeah, just a bit.
Okay, so I'm obviously not female and don't know much about giving birth, but do you actually mean the moment? Because isn't it like a little bit unpleasant in some ways? Do you mean maybe like the next day when it all hit you, or that moment?
No, it's really strange. When I gave birth and they put my son on my chest, and he opened his eyes and they were black, totally dilated, and then he gave a little yelp and he was blue. Oh. He gave a little yelp and his whole body just flushed pink.
Oh, wow. That's
right in front of my eyes.
Magical.
It was magical. And he was just looking at my face like, who are you?
That's so special.
It was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And it's the happiest day of your life all these years later. Margot, thanks so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
It looked like the happiest day of their life. Connor McDavid scored the OT winner, and this is the biggest thing a lot of them have ever won for the guys who have not won a Stanley Cup. Melissa in Grimsby, what was the happiest day of your life?
Getting married to my husband.
Getting married, your wedding day?
Yes.
When was that?
June 20th, 2009.
It would have been funny if you're like, I don't know, I don't remember. You're like, I don't know. You're like, I think it was a summer wedding sometime in the last 15 years. I don't know.
But it was great.
So, Melissa, why was June 20th, 2009, why was that the happiest day of your life? What did you feel?
Just amazing how I found someone that treats me with respect.
That's
and
amazing.
to be with all my family.
And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say you guys are still together and happily married.
Yes, we are.
Okay, good. I'm glad you weren't like, no, we've been separated for
But it was
5
still a
years.
good day.
But it was a great day. You're like, there was a great buffet, and there was a midnight snack table. We had these little slider burgers. Melissa, thank you so much for sharing that, and thank you for continuing to set an example for the rest of us.
No problem. Have a great day.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI.
What was the happiest moment of your life? And this is because, I'm watching the highlights of this game. I was up last night watching it. I'm sure you were too. Looking at Connor McDavid's face when he scored that OT winner, that was the happiest moment of his life. A lot of the players who've maybe never won a Stanley Cup, and look, we know there hasn't been best on best international competition in 9 years. So for a lot of these players, this was the biggest win of their life, and you could see it all over their faces.
And for you. Right? It's like it's a pretty cool experience because you're like dying for the Leafs to win a Stanley Cup. This is the closest thing, right?
I mean, it's
right
the
now.
next biggest piece of elation, I guess, right? Like the Raptors championship, Canada winning in 2010, 2014. But I can't imagine what it's like to be a part of it, right? Like, holy smoke. What was the happiest moment of your life? Let's go to Rohit in Brampton.
Good morning. First of all, love your show. So I was in university. We went on a trip to Mexico, and we were doing a bit of an exchange. And so we'd spent a week together, and there was this girl who was with all the other students. We'd really gotten to know each other. And one day the students were heading off, and I was sort of on the steps of a building. And she turned around, she came back to me, and she gave me a kiss. And it felt like fireworks were going off. And today, 15 years later, we're married, we have a kid, and all that.
Oh, come on. I love the way you described that because I hope we've all experienced a moment like that where you get a kiss, maybe you're not expecting it, and it just feels like every fiber in your being, every nerve ending in your body is just at 150, and you're like, this is living.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that so much. I haven't felt that way in a long time.
I was going to say, usually that's like a one moment thing, and then that's it, and you just remember it. But to go on and say you're married and you have a kid, that's awesome.
That's so awesome, man. I love that. Rohit, thanks so much for sharing that with us, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
Now when I kiss someone, I feel nothing.
Whoa. That's a whole other issue. We don't have time for that.
I'll go get that checked out. What is the happiest moment of your life? And this is because I'm seeing it all over the faces of Team Canada's hockey players. It looked like the happiest moment of their lives, especially Connor McDavid, who had the overtime winner. Damien in Brampton, what's the happiest moment of your life?
That would be when I met my wife.
Oh, come on. Tell me the story.
Oh, it was, you know what? I was working, and lunchtime, I went for lunch next door. There was a John Anderson's restaurant. And there she was. She was working behind the counter, and I said to myself, I got to meet her. I waited just over 5 hours just to say hello.
5 hours? How much can you possibly order at a restaurant?
No, you know what? They thought her and her coworker thought I was some kind of weirdo. They were actually going to call the cops, right?
Wow.
To get me out of there. So I finally got the nerve to say hello. He sat down with me for a few minutes. We went out for coffee, and we've been together now for 40 years.
Oh, my God. That's amazing. Wow. Damien, thanks so much for sharing the story with us.
Thank you.
And lots of texts coming in about the happiest moment of your life, the happiest moment, the happiest day. This person texting in saying, when my oncologist said, I hope I never see you again.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Nice.
I love that. Hope you are still cancer-free. Keep your texts coming. Lots of texts coming in at 981-981. Happiest moment of my life. When I made the decision to Anonymous from Mississauga says, when I made the decision to separate from my husband in 2023, LOL.
Ooh, I feel that.
You feel that one?
Sometimes.
Steph, are you anonymous in Mississauga?
I am. No,
this number looks familiar.
That's
Did
not
you text
me.
us?
No, no comment.
Okay. Text happiest memory. I won the lottery. $12,515.50 when I only had a couple of dollars left to my name.
That would be great.
That's fantastic. This was just before Christmas, and I had 2 small children at the time. It was in 1999, and the lottery was winner take all. That's from Sherry and Amaranth.
Oh, that's any time anyone would win the lottery is probably incredible. But when you're in that kind of situation, that must feel even
free
better.
money. And $12,000 in 1999. I'm pretty sure that roughly translates to about $4 million today. Yeah. Something like that. This person texting Dora from Belleville saying the Joe Carter World Series home run, 1993. I was there in the stadium. What? Can't explain the feeling that washed all over me.
Nice.
That's amazing. And Jessica, in a similar vein, saying the Raptors championship win.
Oh, that was great. That was great.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Today's International Mother Language Day. Steph, do you speak Italian?
Do I?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
I question myself too. So the thing is, my parents would speak legit Italian because there's a whole bunch of dialects. So when they were on the phone to my relatives in Italy, they would speak real
What part
Italian.
of Italy are they?
My parents, they're from Calabria, from the south. But they would speak proper Italian. But then in the house, they would speak their dialect. And so when I spoke Italian, it was all mixed up. And this is what I feel like I sound like.
Scusi.
Because I know some words in like legit Italian and then in dialect, and then I make some stuff up because then the Italians that have moved to Canada make up words like garagio and backyardo, and those aren't words. You're just adding a vowel.
I wish learning a new language was that easy. It's just like adding a letter. It's like big Latin. Backyardo.
Yeah. So, and I read it. I can read it and understand it. I can understand it when everybody talks it, but speaking it, not so great.
I feel like you're not giving yourself enough credit. You just buried the lead there. You can read it, you can write it, and you can
I can't write it.
Okay, sorry. You can read it.
Yeah.
You can fully understand it. And even though your family might make fun of you, you can speak it. It just doesn't sound like how they speak it.
It's totally broken, yeah.
You're at like a 7 out of 10. I'm at like a 1 or 2 out of 10 with Hindi and Punjabi.
Really?
Same kind of problem. So my parents, and I think like a lot of Indian parents here in Canada, speak like a mishmash of Hindi and Punjabi.
Yeah.
So I don't actually know the difference between, if you say a word, I can't tell you if it's Hindi or Punjabi.
Right.
My parents would speak to each other. So I could like if they're having a conversation, if 2 Indian people are having a conversation, I know what they're saying, not word for word. I just can't jump in and start offering my 2 cents. I don't speak it very well, to the point where this is like maybe my biggest insecurity in life, and I've got a few. But when I go to India, like my cousins make fun of me because I'm this person who's Indian but like doesn't speak Hindi or Punjabi. When I was 8, when I was 10, when I was 12, it was cute, it was fun, they would poke fun of me. When I go there as a 40-year-old man and I'm still getting made fun of by my cousins who are in their 50s.
This is my fear when I go to Italy.
I'm like, this isn't fun anymore. I'm a grown man.
I know. I want to go in the next couple of years because I've never been, and that is my legit fear. I'm like, how am I going to communicate? It's not going to happen.
You'll be miles ahead of me.
I don't know.
It's International Mother Tongue Day. Are you embarrassed like me, or do you have some more abilities like Steph?
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
More than 60% of men admit they're in need of one of these. More than 60% of men admit they're in need in one of these, which means if 60% are admitting it, the actual percentage that are in need of one of these is probably a little higher.
My boyfriend says it all the time. I'm like, relax.
Really?
Yeah.
You think it's, okay, without giving anything away, do you think it's true for your boyfriend?
No, because no.
Okay, good. Don't give a reason.
I know.
You give a reason to give it away.
No.
Then we're going to need to fill half an hour with new content. We don't have any. Okay, more than 60% of men admit they're in need of one of these.
I almost pulled the Pooja.
I know. Pooja's done it twice. I've done it once. I don't think you've done it yet. What do you think it is? Let's go to Margot in Toronto.
A toupee.
Oh, my goodness. A toupee. Well, you think more than 60% of men think they're in need of one?
Well, yeah, they're losing their hair.
60%. Okay, that might be, I don't know the actual stats. That feels high. But Margot, great guess. That's not it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Jen from Erin, good morning. What's your guess?
Good morning. I'm going to guess a pedicure.
A pedicure. That is a terrific guess. I don't know what the stats are, but I don't think enough men take care of their hands, their nails, their face. Like, you got to go in, you got to mix in a spa treatment every once in a while. Am I right?
Absolutely. Nobody wants hard, crusty feet.
Nobody wants hard, crusty feet. And listen, boys, go for a little exfoliation with the face once in a while. You'll thank us later. Jen, great guess, but that's not it.
All right, have a good one.
Christina from Richmond Hill, good morning. What's your guess?
Is it like a man cave?
A man cave. That's a really good guess. Do you think... Yeah, 60% of men. I feel like most men would welcome.
In need of one of those?
Do they need one? But we would welcome it.
Okay.
The thing is, I live alone, so it's like my whole condo's a man cave.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You live in your man cave.
I live in my man cave. I only
need a house.
I only come out to do the show. Christina, it's a great guess. It's not the one we're looking for, though.
All right, thank you.
More than 60% of men admit they're in need of one of these. Text coming in at 981-981. Edna from Scarborough texted in, a great woman, LOL.
They'll admit it.
A great woman,
like that.
LOL. Okay, all right. I mean, I'll admit that. A need? No. I don't know about need.
Okay.
No, okay, I'm on the fence. Wade texting in with some truth here. Wade texting in a hug.
Oh.
I feel like Wade maybe needs a hug. I'm inclined to go with hug over a great woman.
Yeah,
that's a good one. We don't have the right answer yet. More than 60% of men admit they're in need of one of these. I'll give you a little hint here. This is a good hint. It has to do with your appearance. It has to do with your appearance. More than 60% of men admit they're in need of one of these. The hint is it has to do with your appearance. Text coming in saying a hair transplant.
Ooh,
okay.
Those are popular now.
Those are very popular. You jump on a bird to Turkey, you come back, you're a new man. Another person texting in saying a six-pack.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I think 100% of men would want a six-pack.
Yeah.
You don't know that anyone actually needs one unless you're actually using them to wash your clothes.
I don't even know if that works.
Washboard ab. Why do they call them washboard abs?
Because I guess it looks like, but it doesn't.
Right.
I don't really think anyone's ever washed laundry on it.
Times are tough. All right. More than 60% of men admit they're in need of one of these. It has to do with your physical appearance. What do you think it is? Let's go to Brennan in North York.
I'm going to say either a good clean or a good shave or a haircut.
Okay, well, that fits the hint because it has to do with your appearance. Brennan, it is not the right answer, though.
All right, sir. You have yourself a wonderful day. Love listening to you guys.
Oh, thanks so much, Brendan. Appreciate you, bud. You should call us more often. You sound great.
All right. Have a wonderful day. Cheers.
You too. Jamie from Whitby, what's your guess?
An entirely new wardrobe.
You got it! Jamie, how did you know that?
Your hint.
The hint helped, huh?
It certainly did.
Okay, Jamie, let me ask you a personal question. Do you feel like you're part of this 60%?
Absolutely.
Really? Okay, you think you need a new wardrobe. How come?
My wife always tells me I do anyway.
See, I almost gave it away before, too, because my boyfriend says it all the time. And I'm like, you don't need a new wardrobe. I buy you clothes nonstop. So you have new clothes all the time.
That's the only reason I get new clothes is if my wife buys them.
I swear, my late father, if it wasn't for my mom, my dad would have owned one pair of pants, 2 shirts, and that's about it. The only reason he had some options is because my mom would buy him stuff.
Keeping it simple.
Keeping it simple. Listen, the exhaustion of choice is real. Jamie, you nailed it, buddy. Thanks for playing.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Listen to Pooja and Gurdeep live weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Only on 98.1 CHFI.
Toronto's perfect music mix.